This podcast is brought to you by our Anime Addicts community. If you want to become an anime addict, join the community, make some friends, have some fun, you can go to our Discord, AAAdiscord.com. I'm currently getting peppered by requests for my Japan honeymoon trip itinerary. So again, you can head over to the Discord, AAAdiscord.com, send me a DM and get that itinerary for Japan. You can plan a great Japan trip all for yourself. And hey, if you want to give back for getting something like that, you could go to AAApodcast.com/join or Patreon. It's not required. I'm happy to give it to you for free. But if you do want to support the podcast, that's where you go. And now, time to start the podcast.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAApodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello, hola, ni hao, annyeonghaseyo, konnichiwa, and a hearty buongiorno to episode 724 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast, the only anime podcast here to make your addiction to something worse. And we'll try to figure out what that is along the way. Welcome, my name is Mason. We have got a big, fun episode for you today. But first, I need to introduce my fantastic near movie star co-hosts with me today. First up, barely missing the cut to be the fifth member of the 80 for Brady gang, we have Mitsugi.
That's right.
Looking all proper in his captain's hat with... What are you drinking there, my friend?
It's a Strawberry Dreams Ultra Monster Energy. The only Monster Energy colored with beet juice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And it tastes like, I'm guessing, Monster.
Listen to me. I would eat cereal out of Tom Brady's butt chin. So that's been known. I've been known to say it. Stick with it. 80 for Brady. Pfft, I don't need that shit. I'm 30-80 for Brady. Let's go.
There you go. And also with us is a background character in an unshot version of the Eras tour. We have Caroline.
Nice.
What?
You were in the background of a Taylor Swift concert, probably?
I was not. They did not film my concert, unfortunately.
That's why I said it was the unshot version. But you were still a background character if you think hard enough.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You were there. And thank you all who are joining us live, where we record every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. Thank you all who are in our Discord, which you go to at AAApodcast.com, which is the place to find all the links to everything from our mailbags to our other social medias. And, you know, maybe I think what we should do, Mitsugi, instead of giving away your super deluxe, ultra rare, just unquestionably the best thing you could ever invest in a trip to Japan with your private tour.
Yeah.
People should have to win that by playing Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? That would be how we get these suckers, valued listeners to join us.
What are you people waiting for? What do they have to do, Mason?
All you got to do is go to the Discord, which is free, and holler at your boy. Just be like, Mason, I want to play. And we'll get you all set so you can try to survive the gauntlet. But that's for another day. Thank you all who joined. And just listen, even if you are...
I am feeling, because I've been watching Ghibli lately.
So even if you're too cowardly, we still love you. And we invite you to buy some merch, tell a friend about us, blah, 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 housekeeping over. Boring. We got stuff to talk about today. First up, our main topic will be the return of the over-under game. It's a blast. We always have fun doing it. You can play along at home. And you might learn some fun facts about anime. Or not. We'll see. As well as a review of the hotly anticipated Frieren's Beyond Journey's End. So, do you guys have anything else before we kick this off?
Nope.
Time for big news of the week.
Let's do it.
It's time for big news of the week.
Well, there's not much news this week, and as such, I found a article from BAFTA, which I'm not even sure what the hell. Oh, British Academy of Film and Television Arts is trying its hand at the Game Awards, and it's very cute. So
this is right up there with last week's Guinness World Records listing the most popular anime.
I just look at this list and I think to myself, I think I'm older and more experienced in video games now than most of the people that make these like awards shows and award lists, because they've got the top 20 most iconic video game characters of all time.
All time?
Of all time. And the list sucks. So let's see here. Let's look through this list and see.
Let's go through this list, because
right.
the big news of this week was that there was literally no anime news.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go through the top 10 real quick, and we'll just stop when we run into one that we don't. When you run into one you don't think deserves to be on this list, you just tell me when.
And this is in order?
This is from number 20 to number 1.
Okay.
Number 20 is Nathan Drake. I don't agree. He's a good character, but I don't think he should be on this top 20 list.
I mean, as far as the most generic white-looking dude goes, he's pretty up there just by being a face of Sony's platform for a while.
He's borderline.
But like his design, his story, like his iconography isn't. You do a silhouette challenge, he's gonna lose every time.
They've got Ellie Williams on here, which it seems The Last of Us always makes these lists, and I don't know. Is Ellie really worth it? I'm not really sure, but I guess if anybody made it, it'd be her from the list from that game, from The Last of Us. The ones that are obviously should not be on here is anybody from Yakuza, and they're on here. The top 20 ever.
Pretty iconic.
You're gonna
He's
put
a goofball.
Kazuma Kiryu is gonna be put up there with like Link.
I feel like all these characters have to be like so standalone, so over talked about to be on this list.
Yeah, anybody from Baldur's Gate 3 should not be. That's just like recency bias.
I've never even heard of Baldur's Gate 3. Like
Exactly.
if I as a general member of society have not heard of the game nor the character, it should not be on this list. And in fact, if this was like a true list, like there would be so many overlaps. Like every character from Super Mario would be on this list.
Cloud Strife, yes, obviously. Crash Bandicoot, maybe. Solid Snake, probably. Then you got Steve from Minecraft. I mean, I don't know if Steve from Minecraft really deserves to be on a top 20 list.
I think it's a pop culture icon thing. I think that makes sense.
I mean, I would argue Minecraft is massive, but Steve?
I don't know, maybe just as the representative of Minecraft.
That's what I'm saying. And I think that's where they were going with Baldur's Gate 3, because Baldur's Gate was one of the biggest games of last year. Sure, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if the characters really hold up in the test of time yet.
Okay, actually no. I'll get to continue. I'll get to it when we get to it. Sorry.
I don't know how anything that came out like 3 months ago could be iconic already.
Unless it came from Ubisoft. You have to only come from that studio. They're the only ones who get around it.
Don't you have to hang around a bit to be iconic? Like I'm not sure. Usually icon is like it takes time. I don't know. Of the top 10, the ones that should not be on here are Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3. There's no freaking way.
To get back to that, I was just about to say 2 characters from Baldur's Gate 3. 2 characters.
2 of them.
2 of them. And I've never heard of the game. 1. 2, you guys said it's a recent game. Mm-hmm. And 3, if there are 2 characters of anything, how is there only 1 character from Super Mario and The Legend of Zelda and Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah.
All these have several very, very, very popular characters that everybody knows.
I mean, there's
How did Baldur's Gate 3 get to the only one on this list?
There's at least 10 characters from Final Fantasy that could be on this list. You could probably, I mean, based on these names, you could put Yuna on here. Sephiroth could be on here. Terra from Final Fantasy 6 could be on here. Kefka could be on here. You know, Tifa could probably be on here. I mean,
they can make the excuse that only one character from each franchise can make it onto this list. That's understandable because it would literally the top 20 would take up maybe 3 franchises at best. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And The other ones in the top 10 that just didn't seem to fit were Sackboy from Little Big Planet. I'm like, really? Seriously? I'm not sure if anybody
Over
ever...
Pac-Man and Link?
Yeah, Sackboy is more iconic than Link. Come on, give me a fucking break. Hitman from Agent 47 from Hitman. He's not even in the top 20. How in the fuck is that on here? And then number 1 is Lara Croft. Look, I get it. Lara Croft is probably a top 20 character because when she landed on PlayStation back in the day, it was a big deal.
I can see her being in this top 20, but not over Mario.
Number 1. Mario has to be number 1 on the list, and I'm not even a Mario honk, you know. But like, you gotta like, give props when you gotta give props.
Like, it doesn't even matter if you're not. It's just a matter of who is the most iconic, the most talked about in pop culture in the world that people know. It has to be Mario. It has to be Link. It has to be Sonic. Yeah. Those are your top 3 at the very least.
Anyway, the other top 10s were Kratos from God of War. I can handle with him being on the list. Master
I can get
Chief,
behind him because at least he's a character. He's not Sackboy.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly, yeah. Master Chief, fine. Link, obviously. Pac-Man, obviously. Sonic, obviously. Mario, obviously. And then the rest, it's just not a very good list. And there's a lot of people that are missing. Like, I don't know. Don't know. What about Chrono? He could have been on here, maybe. You know, there's a lot of characters, but yeah, this is a
Where's
bad list.
Slime? That's what.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have any goofball character mascot kind of character, you need Slime.
Yeah. So anyway, just pretty disappointing. I always think I should we should do one of these lists or something, but I don't know. The problem is that there's so many people that have been playing games for way longer than these like video game writers now. They're all early 20 somethings, and they don't
I wonder what
remember.
was the process to make this list.
How do we make it as infuriating as possible?
How much money did each company give us to put their character on this list?
Yeah,
I don't know about that, but
yeah, Gohan Trunks says, "Where's Ryu?" Like, yeah, where's Street Fighter? Like that for sure could deserve to have at least one character show up. Street Fighter, you know, for sure, I would think. So there's a great example of somebody that's missing from here. You take the Yakuza guy, you take one of the Baldur's Gates off and put Ryu from Street Fighter, for God's sake. Like, I don't know. It's just like how, honestly, in my opinion, and then we'll move on, I think it's just like how people always vote for the most recent waifus in our waifu war, and then for the R anime awards, like Girl of the Year, like the top 4 were all from Oshinoko or Frieren. Like, nobody remembers anything that happened more than like 6 months ago. So yeah, of course Baldur's Gate 3 is on here twice. It's the only explanation I can give. So, and that's why Jujutsu Kaisen won every award at the Crunchy Awards. If 9 months had passed, nobody would have cared. But because it had just happened, everyone voted for that.
Nobody likes to talk about the most recent thing, though. Nobody.
Yeah.
It'd be boring to talk about the same thing over and over again just because it's classic and not new.
I'm trying to get over that. Like, I realized the other day that, yes, I'm probably going to get Stellar Blade because it's like going to be one of the biggest games of the year. But I'm like, I just bought 2 Resident Evil games, and this is not a game podcast, honestly, but there's no anime news. I just bought 2 Resident Evil games for $5 a piece that I haven't played. Call of the Lamb was like $15. And there's a few other games that are cheap too, and it's like, why would I drop $75 on a game when I can just wait 6 months and get it on sale around Christmas time for like probably $39.99? I don't know. Unless you really care about being like in the meta and arguing with people on the internet, like none of that shit really matters. I'm trying to instill that in myself because I think it just like helps to save a lot of money and spares you the stress of, you know, arguing online with people. So anything else about this list? I know it's not anime, but
I just still can't get over the fact that they took 2 characters from a random game when they only did one character each otherwise.
Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2 is on here, and yet no one from Grand Theft Auto is on here. Last time I checked, Grand Theft Auto was the primary franchise of Rockstar and not Red Dead Redemption. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, aren't the Spider-Man games like super popular? Spider-Man
they are.
On here.
They're huge. They're huge. Yeah.
I don't know. It feels a little cheap going...
Is Master Chief on here?
Yeah, he's on there.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it.
It feels a little cheap putting on, you know, cross-media people, though, like Batman or Spider-Man. But
yeah, I guess. But like
Mickey Mouse
they
was
made this
in
pretty
Kingdom
cheap
Hearts.
already.
Can't really on him, but Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
We
think
can-
Sora
we
would have
can
been a
move on.
very. I think Sora should have been on this list.
No one wants to think about Sora though.
I know I'm super biased, but like honestly, you got to take a Baldur's Gate character over here and put Mega Man on. Are you fucking kidding? Mega Man's got
Yeah.
like 60
Yeah.
video games. I don't know how that. I don't know. But that's old. No one cares. So okay.
Let's move on to our main anime topic today, which is the over/under game. So
You want to
we
play the
each
drop?
have compiled. Yeah, we have a drop.
I don't know.
Play something. Oh yeah, that works. Welcome to the third, fourth, fifth. I don't know what number edition of the
7,000.
over/under
Over
game.
or under 3.
Yeah, over/under is this the third edition of the over/under game. So the way this works, each of us has come up with 6 questions each that we will ask the other 2 contestants to some anime fact, numerically based, and ask, is the value over or under the stated amount? And the way we'll play it is, if you get 1 point if you guess correctly if the amount is over or under. And I want to mix it up and give people a risky option, which you can,
Oh.
if you think you know the actual number. So, for example, let me just give an example first. I'll say at the end of season 1 of the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You, has Rentaro fallen in love with over or under 99 girlfriends? And as we all know, he's probably topping out at less than 10. So we all know that the answer would be under because it's less than 99. So if Caroline answered under and Mitsugi answered over, Caroline would get 1 point and Mitsugi would get 0 points. But let's say Mitsugi knows that it's under and he knows that the answer is 6. He can risk the points and actually give the number that it is and try to get 2 points for his answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Wait,
makes
so
sense.
if you decide like, oh, I know how many, and
If
you say
you know
how
what the
many,
value is,
but
can
if you
go
get it
for the
wrong,
number.
do we
you
lose
get 0
points?
points.
Okay,
You don't lose points,
Oh, so
but
it's a
you won't
risk
get the
of
point.
the first point.
Yeah, so if
At
you
that
thought,
risk, okay.
oh, he has 8 girlfriends and goes with
You get
that,
in.
you're correct that it's under 99, but you didn't get 6, so you get 0 points.
I got it.
So, and we'll just go round robin style. We'll keep track of score.
keeping
You
score.
can play along at home, and I think it'll be fun. I hope. So, who
All right.
wants to go first?
I will ask my questions first.
Okay.
All right. So my first question, this is for Mason and Caroline. I'm just going to ask all my questions, and then we'll move on to the next person. Is that fine?
Yeah.
That's easier
that
than
works.
rotating around, less chaotic.
By the way, I
Alright.
have a massive thunderstorm going on behind me. So if you hear
Cool.
some sultry ASMR, that's what it is.
Atmospheric.
All right. This
I wouldn't
question.
say sultry, but
This first question is in honor of Caroline. How many episodes of hentai are releasing during the month of April?
That's
Over
why?
or under 9.5 episodes?
I don't even have a frame of reference for this. I really don't. So, over? I won't even guess.
Caroline says over.
The exact amount.
I mean,
Yeah.
9-ish is definitely the range that they can be, and they fluctuate usually plus or minus 2. I think it's over as well, but I'm
The
not going
answer
to risk
is-
any specific.
You're both correct. The answer is 11 episodes of hentai are coming out in the month of April. Good
Oh,
job.
we're eating good, baby.
Nice. I'm so happy for you guys.
Are you surprised, Caroline, that it's so few?
I mean, I really don't know. I just don't have the frame of reference to even make a comment. You know,
APC in the Twitch says, how many are actually good?
I still am trying to wrap my mind around that.
Under.
You know, people are actively like, oh my god, the new episode of Big Boobies coming out this week, this
I'm gonna-
Friday. Oh my god.
I'm going to be wild and say that I would not be surprised if there are as many people watching, if there are more hentai episodes watched in the course of a season than there are anime episodes.
I would be severely disappointed.
It's the #1 searched porn term on Pornhub, if that makes it any clearer for
We
you.
all know this. Yes.
It's probably like 100 million views a month. So I'm just
Your
saying.
next question.
My next question is, How many supporting characters are listed in the credits for So no Frieren on my anime list? Supporting characters, over or under 38 and a half?
Ooh, that's tough.
How many characters are listed as supporting on my anime list for Frieren, over or under 38 and a half?
At first, I thought you meant like in the ending song, like how many show up. But you're saying like on Mal.
Just listed.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I don't use Mal.
All right.
You think I use Mal to check how many supporting characters are listed in free?
I'm going
No,
to say over.
I'm going to take under.
The answer is Mason is correct. The answer is there are 47 listed on Mal.
I don't remember there being that many named characters.
I figure there's like 1 or 2 for the first, 6 episodes, and then they just dump a bunch in during the exam arc. So that'll just rack up the numbers, baby.
Twitch was stumped by that one.
I don't remember there being that many named characters.
Well, you are not alone, Caroline, because the Twitch mostly said under. So, next question. Whoa! Pay attention to this one. It's long. How much of a gap is there between the current My Anime List rating for the new Spice and Wolf versus the previous season 1 of Spice and Wolf? Current Spice and Wolf versus previous first season of Spice and Wolf. What is the difference in their score on My Anime List currently? Over or under 0.10?
Tough mitts. You made some tough ones.
0.1000000001. I see that you. I'm gonna say over again. As of April 14th, 5:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Mason says over.
I'll also say over.
The answer is under. The score difference is 0.03.
Wait, is anybody keeping score?
I am. I'm keeping score.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
That's close.
Currently, the score halfway through Mitsuki's round. It's time to play family. It's not time to play Family Feud.
Mom, no.
It's time to edit that in post.
Yeah, the score is 1 for Caroline, 2 for Mason. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Over under.
I'm gonna have to ask you to step it up, Caroline. Gotta step it up here.
So
okay?
I'm so sad.
You got this, okay?
Thank you for your trust.
Question 4. How old is Hayao Miyazaki?
Ancient.
Over or under 81 and a half years?
I'm gonna keep on slamming that over button.
He's
slamming it over.
He's slamming the button.
Over.
The answer is, you're both correct. 83 years old, Miyazaki is. Turned 83 in early January. Congratulations.
Yeah, I feel like this was a feasible one to guess, but I still did not know for certain. I probably would have said 83, actually. I think
they're all 50-50s. They're all feasible to guess.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about to get the extra point. That's all.
Oh, I see. How many new anime from the current season, so no continuing anime, must be current. How many anime from the current season are scoring above an 8.00 on my anime list right now? No continuing, no movies, blah, blah, blah. Only current.
What does season 1 of Spice and Wolf have?
Season 1 of Spice and Wolf has a score of which I cannot tell you currently, but I will tell you.
We almost had him. We almost had him.
All right, so over or under 7.5?
I'm going under. I'm going
Me too.
under.
I'm going to go under.
The answer is loser. There are 10 anime over an 8.0 on my anime list.
Not much. Is that promising?
It's the hype. It's the hype. It'll die down.
And Spice and
Wolf,
will
be proven right. And I just need to wait a little bit. In the future, I'll be right, listeners.
Spice and Wolf has roughly an 8.25.
That's what I figured, yeah.
So it's one of those. All right. And the final question. Are you excited?
Yes.
You think you're excited? Feel these nipples.
Oh, God.
All right, so how many anime from the current season, including all formats, feature either the word blue or RE with a colon in the title?
Ooh.
Over or under 2.5 anime. All formats, that includes OVAs, specials, movies, TV shows, blah, 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 whatever.
It's got to be over. It has to be
Contain
over.
I was also
blue
thinking
or
over.
re colon in the title. Over or under
Over.
2.5?
Over.
The answer is, I am over the moon for you guys. Whoa.
No, Tony.
Currently, the score after Mitsuki's round is that...
Well, how many were there?
Oh, sorry, there were 3.
I was going to guess 3 if I
I
had
would have
to.
guessed 4 to be bold.
I'm
glad I didn't.
I'll give you the titles too, because I'm so nice. Let's be honest.
Monster.
Blue Archive, the animation. Blue Lock, the movie. And Monster. So there you go.
Oh my goodness, we need to make Blue. That's the fast track to success. Make that the name of a show.
Oh man. All right. So which of you is gonna go next?
Me. Pick me.
Oh, Caroline volunteering. Okay.
Okay. So here is my first question. How many anime are currently on my watching list? Over or under
my
12? I done this question before on a game previously.
I'm going over.
And I will give you a hint.
Oh, she's so
last
nice.
The last time I played this game and I gave you guys this question, it was 18 anime on my over or under. So I'll give you the chance. Do you have faith in me or do you not have faith in me?
Have you put on the shows? Have you started watching the shows for this next season?
I will not answer that.
Because that would be 7 right there. But part of me thinks now that she said, "Oh, I'm at 18 last time." Know what? Caroline never learns. I'm going over.
Part of me thinks Caroline's trying to pull a bamboozle. She's
I
like,
know.
last
What do
time
you
it was
think?
18, so now it's only 5. Bullshit. It's probably like 26 now. I'm
You're only getting
smashing
worse.
the over as hard as I can.
Are you guys going to put any money on a specific
Guessing?
number on that?
Hell no. I
No.
want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Okay, I'm gonna blow you as or no, I was not gonna say that.
You're gonna
I'm going
blow
to hit you
what?
in the face as hard as that guy on your little fighting show that you like to watch.
The little fighting show.
Under.
Oh my goodness.
I have
What a fake
8
anime fan. Leave.
Eight.
Get off the podcast.
8 on my currently watching.
Have you put in stuff from this season yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so that's about to change.
And what is your most anticipated title on your must-watch list?
Oh, like for the new season?
Yeah.
Well,
No, just
Kaiju
on
number
your-
8 seems like one of the only promising anime of the season, but I have heard good things about Go Loser Ranger, so I'm kind of interested to get into that. And also Salad Bowl? Yeah. I heard that one's also good, so I
should make an announcement. I swapped another anime out on my impression list. I swapped out the commie game I play with God or whatever because it's getting ass reviews, and I put Sandland in there.
Okay, yeah.
That's just I
I
don't
have
know.
not heard about it.
It's I have
Alright.
to do it. It's Akira Toriyama.
Toriyama.
And he died,
Yeah.
so I mean, come on.
He died.
He's dead. Okay.
All right,
And
next
it's also
question.
not the God's game we play. I mean, almost any show would be a good reason besides that.
Next
All right,
question is
question number 2.
Whoa.
How many cats does the Kawamoto family have in March Comes In Like a Lion? Over or under 4 cats?
I buzzed in.
Yes.
I barely
Your
even listened to the question. March Comes In Like a Lion, 4 cats. I'm gonna say Mason probably knows the answer to this.
I do. I'm gonna give a
Oh,
number.
This is some shit.
Ooh.
I hope I'm right.
Oh man, I'm going to give a number also, and I don't even fucking know.
Interesting. Well, Mitz, you buzzed in first.
It was over or under 4.5.
Over or under 4?
We didn't do halves like you did.
But you need to, because 4 could be a push.
They could.
I did not make.
There are no pushes.
I did not make the.
Okay. I'm going to say definitively that it is 5 cats. Whoa.
I think it's 3.
Mason just going
Mason's
the same.
Correct.
Mason's
Yay.
correct?
It is 3 cats.
Oh, this is lame. Where's the boo? Where's the boo button? Just kidding,
And I found out something super interesting when I was checking to see how many cats there were. I noticed that, you know how the cats make, like, sometimes will say cute little things in the show?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I found out that the voice actresses that played the 3 sisters, each of them voice a cat. It's so cute.
That's pretty awesome, actually. I like that.
Okay. Question number 3.
Mm-hmm.
How many times has Subaru died in ReZero in the ReZero anime so far?
God.
Over or under 15?
Oh.
That we are shown, or
That we are shown.
Oh, it's definitely over.
I'm still going over.
I'm taking the over.
It's actually not as many as I was expecting. It is over 7. It's over, and the number is 17.
And that's across both seasons?
Yeah.
I would have thought it was at least in the 20s.
Yeah, me too. I was actually I was kind of researching it a lot. Like, is this like individual circumstances, or is this like, you know, when he died in the bunny field, he died so many times in that field. I was wondering, does that count as one or several times? And I couldn't definitively figure it out. I think it is individually, because that 17 was always the answer I found. All right. Let's go. Question number 4. How old is my anime list? Over or under 17 years?
I mean, the website design hasn't aged at all, so that fits. I'm going to say under.
I also say under.
Surprisingly, it is over 19 years of my anime list. 20
and it shows every age.
Yeah, and it's going to turn 20 this fall. All right.
And they won't upgrade a thing.
Question number 5. How many volumes of manga did Osamu Tezuka create during his career?
God.
Over or under 600?
1 billion.
Yeah.
I'm not going to actually make that my guess. Volumes?
Volumes.
I'm still going to say over. That man worked. That man was so prolific.
Mitz?
Well, I'm behind Mason by 2 in this round, so if I don't do something, I will never win. 600 is a lot. And I think he probably did a lot of short ones. I'm going to say under.
All right. The answer is over.
Fuck.
And there's no specific number, but it was constantly called over 700 volumes of manga that he created.
Motherfuck. Oh, well.
Nice.
Yeah,
love Harry.
Like, he's kind of like a James Patterson, a person who could never possibly make as many books as he does. So, James Patterson is probably a ghostwriter, but but we know that Osamu Tezuka is Osamu Tezuka and has done this many manga. It's crazy.
I feel like when we did our Pluto episode, or something around that time, like I remember looking up Tezuka, just like fun facts and stuff for trivia. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why I remember that.
Yeah.
But
people often misquoted the trivia. Like, they'll say over 700 manga series, but it's manga volumes. Like, so no. Okay. Final question. A similar question. How many volumes of One Piece are there? Over or under 125 volumes?
Good Lord.
Under. I think. Let's see. So there's I'm going to say under.
How many did you say?
Over or under 125.
Man, I'm going to have... It's definitely under.
Okay. The answer is under.
Yeah.
The answer is 108 volumes of One Piece.
Well, that's even more than I would have thought. So... Whoa! Your score through 2 rounds is Mitsuki has 3, Caroline has 3, and Mason has 10. But Mason will not be playing in the 3rd round. So we will have to see.
Peaked, Mason.
I would note that
This is the best I'll ever be.
that Mason only missed 1 question that last round, and he got 2 points on a question. So he actually got 6 points for 6 questions, which is just overachieving. Boo.
Big if true.
Boo.
So how many did you say I had again?
You and I both have 3. We have a lot of
This
catching up to do.
stinks, Mitz. Mason's gonna win.
He usually does.
Yeah, but I'm the only one that played twice.
No,
So-
but like I don't know how I can catch up.
You're gonna have to get them all right.
I would have to get them all right, and
And
also
get a
get
double.
a specific number right.
Well, let me
All
tell you, first things first, Caroline. This first one should be right up your alley.
All right, give it to
with
me.
Recency bias. In Haikyuu, Hinata Shoyo, the orange hair main character, his height is over or under that of Yu Nishinoya, the libero. So who is taller?
For
Hinata
God's sake.
or Nishinoya?
That's not a number
That's not
question.
an over
though.
under.
Okay, the difference between their height is, well, it's an over under literally in height. But if you want to
You're
number,
saying is Hinata's height over or under the height of the other fucking guy?
yes.
All right, I think
fuck?
I know the answer, Mitz. So you go first.
I don't fucking know the answer. I'm gonna say over. I don't fucking know.
All right. Hinata is taller than Nishinoya, and do you need the height of Hinata or Nishinoya?
I would give you the answer if you want to try to guess. Is there difference in the height between the two?
Oh, okay.
And I will accept
2
a bit of a range.
There's
2
no
inches.
You gotta give me it in non-freedom
2
units,
inches?
please.
What? No.
They don't
I
even
don't know.
measure
I don't
shit.
know if centimeters. I really don't.
How the
2
fuck
inches?
do you even
Oh,
know the answer at all?
2
Because I just
inches.
watched it.
What is that, like a talking point? They have a whole discussion about how many.
They do.
inches-
Yeah, because they're super short, and they're like, "Whoa, you're shorter than me."
All right, time to put your big. boy
I'll
pants
give it
on.
to you because 2 inches is equal to 5 centimeters, which was the max range I would have allowed. So I will give it to you.
Yay!
I actually knew how many centimeters 2 inches was. So do I get points?
no,
We'll give you
That's
a
fucked
pity
up.
half point. No, we'll
That's
give you a
fucked
half
up.
point.
no,
I don't
no.
want your
He,
fucking pity.
he loves his half points.
He's carrying off of my
I don't want
answer.
your pity.
Okay, question number 2. Prior to Haruhi joining the titular Oran High School host club, there are over or under 5 members in the club.
I need to think about this.
Under. And I'm going to say that there are. I got to go double or nothing because I'm not going to catch up if I don't. So I am going to say that it's under, and I'm going to say that there are. But prior to her joining, I'm going to say there were 3 members.
I'm gonna take over, and I believe there were 6 members before she joined.
Okay, can you name them all?
We got Honey, Kyoya, Mori. Was that his name? Something like that.
That was his nickname, yep.
The twins. What were their names?
If I tell you, you're going to have it ingrained
I know.
into your
It
head
was
for a while.
Kaoru,
Yep.
and it's Hikaru.
Yep.
And why am I
The
blanking
main
on
one. The main
name?
one. You just get one away.
no.
The answer is over. It is 6. So
Yeah.
she did get the
Why
bonus
am I
point.
blanking on? Was it Takumi?
Close. Tamaki.
Damn it!
That was still good. You still get the bonus points. It's not about naming them.
But I feel like I should have gotten an extra point for naming them all.
No, I just wanted to see you have to realize in your head that Hikaru and Karu, the names that you hate so much because they say them so much.
Oh, I don't hate their names.
You
But
just
yeah,
hate how they say them at each other.
yeah, they do talk to like they are really weird.
So, yeah. See,
I can't believe I
Caroline?
remember their names
What a
though.
comeback. I'm impressed.
She's working on it.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Let's see what we can do here.
Okay, question number 3. The original series of Hunter x Hunter has over or under the amount of episodes of the original series of Full Metal Alchemist?
Ooh, I don't know. I've never seen Hunter x Hunter. I've never seen the original series of Full
Under.
Metal. I will take over.
The answer is over.
Oh my god. I'm
There were
getting
62
destroyed.
episodes in Hunter x Hunter and 51 in Full Metal Alchemist.
I just might have a chance.
Caroline's catching
You might.
up. Currently, I
Love
have
to see it.
Currently, I have 4. Caroline has 8, and Mason has 10. With what, 3 questions left?
Yep.
Okay.
I guess I should have made these a little more
Yeah,
difficult.
you made these a little bit easy for me, I think.
It's okay. Okay, I have to go with one personally for me. In the show Ping Pong the Animation, games are typically played to a score of over or under 15 points.
I believe under.
I don't know. Over.
The
It's
answer,
got to be fucking over.
as anyone who's ever played ping pong knows, it's 11.
Oh, that's a stupid,
So it's under.
That's stupid.
I don't know why you would.
That's what the rules
why
are.
is it so stupid?
It's stupid because that's not enough.
No,
That's
but
not-
there's multiple sets, Mitz.
Well, it's still stupid. Volleyball's 20, 21.
I don't see what the point. Like, why would it be stupid? It's just a number.
It's just not
Which
a
is
lot.
also coincidentally the number of episodes in the show, which I think is a nice little
What?
touch.
Amazing.
It's irrelevant,
Amazing.
but I don't think 11 points is enough to allow any kind of momentum shifting. So, I don't know. It's whatever.
Is what it is. I'm sorry,
It is what it
Mitch.
is.
I think you're out of elimination of this game, but you can still play along for fun. Let's see. I got a couple questions to choose from, and I think you're one away from tying me, Caroline.
Ooh.
One away.
Or is so okay. So I'm gonna have to bring out the big ones.
The big one.
We've got some difficult ones to
I can't
slam
believe
you
you
in
can
your
pick and choose
tracks.
your questions. I feel like that's not fair.
Fine. I'll go with the 2 I had
No,
planned.
do what you did. Do what you gotta do.
No, this is what I had planned. At the end of season 1 of the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You, Rentaro has kissed Nano, who's the white-haired brainiac, over or under the amount of times he's kissed Shizuka, the small, quiet librarian, aka, has he kissed Nano more, and you want the over, or has he kissed Shizuka more, you go the under?
Why you gotta make these so complicated?
He's kissed the white-haired girl more. It's over.
I will say Shizuka then.
The answer is over.
Shizuka.
He's kissed Nano 6 times, and he's kissed
Suck it.
Shizuka 5 times.
Why you gotta be so
So
rude?
Mitz gets the points.
That's right. God damn it.
Okay, comes down
For once.
to this last one. And because Caroline has to get this right to tie, we'll make it a Caroline-specific question.
Oh, you don't have to pander.
Caroline has reviewed over or under 100 anime on this very podcast.
Okay, let me think about this.
For those of you who are being persnickety at home, not like literally this singular podcast you're listening to
Under.
right now, like over the whole entirety of this podcast.
I'm going to say under. I'm saying under.
Considering that I have been here for 2 years and 2 months,
This is for the tie.
but I have frequently taken Sundays off for holidays and vacations, I will say under. I
That's definitely
don't
under.
know. You know what? I'm not currently tied, am I? No?
No, you're not.
No.
Okay. Then I won't take the risk. I'll say under.
The answer is under. You've reviewed 95 anime.
I've skipped a lot of weeks.
That's,
Really,
that's
it should have been
pretty
like
good.
it should have been at least 100. But
Well, there we go.
All right, I'm going to ask
is
a
there any
tie.
yeah, do you have a tiebreaker?
Tiebreaker.
I do have
had
a
a
tiebreaker.
planned because I
do have a
I was
tiebreaker.
here.
Okay. The tiebreaker question is, It's not an over or under. You simply give a number. How many Gundam movies, TV shows, and OVAs are there in the franchise? In the history of Gundam, how many TV series, films, and OVAs exist?
21.
This is so bad.
Are we giving a number without going over, or just who's ever closer wins?
It's whoever gets closer wins.
TV series, movies,
I'm actually
games,
not 100%
whatever.
sure the answer. Let me see. These are video games. There's a ton of them.
Wait, video games? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so can you repeat what exactly is being counted?
32.
You already gave your number.
I wasn't thinking about video games. I was just thinking like anime properties.
All right. How many Gundam TV shows, how many... I think the first thing I came up with had video games baked in there as well. This is too fucking hard. Let me... I don't know. I don't have a
Do a different
tiebreaker.
one.
Gundam.
How about I just ask Caroline
just
the
too difficult.
tiebreaker, and if she gets it right, she wins.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
All right. Why don't you ask the tiebreaker, Mason?
On my anime list, there are currently over or under 10 anime franchises that have an entry with a cumulative score of over a 9. So how many franchises have something that's a 9 or above on my anime list?
On your anime list.
No, on my anime list. If you go to like top anime of all
I
time,
literally know the answer.
how many franchises have an entry in that list with a score of 9 or above, over or under 10?
This is just a guess, but I'll say over.
If I can name how many exactly, do I get to steal all of Caroline's points?
Oh.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
No.
I believe the answer is 1, and I think it's Frieren.
The
Continue, Mason.
answer is under with 9.
There's 9 shows on my anime list with higher than a 9.
You have Kaguya-sama, Gintama, Legends of the Galactic Heroes, Bleach, Hunter x Hunter, Attack on Titan, Steins Gate, and Full Metal Alchemist, and Frieren now all have a 9 or above.
I would have for sure thought it was more.
And that's just stupid.
Well, there's more shows with a 9 or above, but there's like 3 or 4 Gintamas.
Most of them barely broke a 9. I thought it was just 1. Oh, well.
So, there we go. Mason wins, but no one likes how it was done. Yay!
Mason, yay!
I put up a good fight, so
I mean, he really did.
Mason was going to be the favorite anyway. Honestly, let's just be.
Everybody wants Mason to win.
Caroline's comeback, though, meteoric.
It was pretty great. All right. Well, that was good. Let's head into our in-show weekly trivia question. What is the nickname of Ara, one of the 7 sages of destruction in the show Frieren? And we'll give you the answer after the news break.
Hey, anime fans, this is Mitsugi bringing you your anime news break. Starting off with Tokyo Revengers. Well, the creator of Tokyo Revengers, who's going to be working on a new manga. So the 19th issue of Weekly Shonen Jump announced this, that the Ken Wakui, who is the mangaka, is going to be working on another manga. So if you are a fan of Tokyo Revengers or the work of Ken Wakui, look forward to more coming out. It looks like his previous work, of course, Tokyo Revengers, the manga, has a cumulative 70 million copies in circulation as of January 2023, which is a huge deal, making it, I don't know, top 50 all time probably for sure. Next up in the news, Japanese TV animation rankings. So we do know the normal staples on this list. Let's see if anything has broken through. Sazae-san, Detective Conan, Chibi Maruko-chan, Doraemon, One Piece, Crayon Shin-chan, all pretty common on here, but there are 2 anime that stand out that are on the list that are fairly high up the list, actually, and that is My Hero Academia Season 7. The premiere came in at number 5, and also that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Season 3's premiere also in at number 4. This, of course, from the week of April 1st through April 8th. So it looks like those 2 anime are making waves where others perhaps are not. Next up, more Detective Conan, even though we just mentioned it being in the rankings. The 27th Detective Conan film sells 960 million yen on its first day, which is about $6.3 million. Comparatively, the 26th film did about 6.4 million, so it's a little behind the prior film, but still pretty strong for Detective Conan, which just continues to be an utter juggernaut in the anime sphere, with so many films, so much manga and anime, etc. already being released. The film is the 18th highest earning film ever in Japan and was the 3rd highest grossing film in 2023, that being the prior one, The Iron Submarine. Next up and lastly in the news, some live action anime news. It looks like the adaptations of Uketsu's Hennale, or The Strange House, is at number 1 for its 4th consecutive weekend. The film sold about $2.4 million over that weekend, and also that film has sold $22.6 million for the tickets combined. And the Doraemon film is back at number 2. So Doraemon also just a juggernaut. Live action Doraemon is pretty wild, but the Nobita no Chikyu Symphony, or Nobita's Earth Symphony, rose back up to number 2 from number 3. That film has sold about $24 million for the tickets. So this was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. And now, time to get back to the podcast.
We know the truth.
It's written all over your face.
You're addicted to anime.
But it's more than that, isn't it?
Are you also addicted to the AAA podcast?
Get all the content. Early episodes, after parties, hobby addicts, hentai episodes, show notes, ringtones, and more by joining our $7 support tier.
Go to aapodcast.com/join and select the $7 tier to get access to everything.
This means you'll get an extra 8 episodes of podcast goodness delivered right to your ears every month. That's less than $1 per episode.
And that's on top of all the other bonuses, like ringtones and show notes.
So head to aapodcast.com/join and select the $7 tier. Set up your membership, and you're good to go.
ザ・アニメアディクツアノニマスポッドキャストプレゼンツカズオ vs ザ・キャットバス
Who do you got for number 1?
I have the cat bus from My Neighbor Totoro. Shichi Kokoyama Hospital.
Okay.
That's where the cat bus goes.
Yeah, but like, what are the cat bus's combat abilities?
It has the most powerful headlights in history on its eyeballs. It could blind you drastically with its eyeballs.
That's the worst.
It can run on telephone wires. You know how nimble that is? That agility.
All right,
such agility, such grace. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Does the cat bus not have about 10 legs?
Does it have 10 legs? Yes, true.
Do cats have claws?
Yeah.
How many claws does a cat have on every paw?
Oh, I don't know. Like
It's 5.
5? Okay.
That is 50 razor sharp blades coming at you.
Look at it.
It's like a bowling ball covered in butcher knives. It's coming at your ass. Yeah, that cat bus is terrifying. And that son of a bitch is coming at you.
It does look terrifying.
It's literally screaming all the time. It would take you to the Shichi Kokoyama Hospital after it beats your ass.
It's gonna beat your ass and take you to the hospital?
Yeah.
And now back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. When we left you, we had an intro trivia question. You know what? Fuck this Chopin. Who the hell do you think you are, anyway?
The F Chopin?
What is the nickname of Ara, one of the 7 sages of destruction in the show Frieren? The answer is Ara the Guillotine. I want to see you dancing and moving for me.
On that note, during that arc, don't they like drop Frieren's little moniker, her nickname, so no Frieren, is supposed to be like translated to Frieren the Slayer. So are they saying that the title of this anime in Japanese, as people are talking about it in, Japan, they're saying like, oh yeah, this one show, Frieren the Slayer, such a sweet little Iyashikei, cute adventure show. Frieren the Slayer. But I digress. Let's get into our mailbag.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
To really quickly interrupt the mailbag thing and answer your question, Caroline. So does not always mean Slayer. Like it's like a funeral procession. It's something else. It's kind of similar to Attack on Titan being Attack on Titan in the first season, and then we learned it actually is Attack Titan later on. So it's more of just an alternate way of like reading the word. So it's kind of it has a double meaning.
I feel like that is such a different interpretation. Like it's kind of stark. But anyway.
That's why it's cool, and you're like, oh dang. Anyway, sorry. What's the mailbag?
If you would like to submit a mailbag, you can go to AAApodcast.com, click the mailbag button, and send us any question you like Furious did. Furious says, "Good day, AAA pod hosts. Just been reading about the Crunchyroll Award and voted in the AAA Anime Oscars. And it seems like anime awards maybe don't hold the same sway in the industry as, say, the Oscars do for a live-action film. What award in anime does each host think is the single most important or meaningful award handed out each year? Who is it handed out to and why? Bonus question. Given how much of a legend and commentary on anime Mitsuki has been for more than a decade, at least outside of Japan, how come there isn't a Mitsuki award in anime? If there was to be one, and Mitsuki had 40% of the vote, and the fans could vote in the other 60%, what would it be for, and who would he give it to this year? Thanks for keeping me company in rural Australia every week." And he also says, "Love you, Pancake, and Waifu Laifu." On behalf of Waifu Laifu, we love you too. Mitz, what do you got to say?
And I love you too. For pumping
well,
my
he
ego.
didn't say that we love Mitsuki. He said Pancake.
No, he said that I deserve to have an award named after me.
But he didn't say love. He didn't say the L word.
He loves me. He loves me not. He loves me. I don't know. Write in again and answer that question. It's got to be, I mean, the most important award has got to be the overall Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast Anime Oscars Award. I mean...
Never heard of it.
Listen, all these big award shows, and Crunchyroll Awards, BAFTA, whatever the fuck, I'll take a smaller group of seasoned viewers over a huge group of people who don't know much of anything any day of the week. I mean, how else do you end up with Jujutsu Kaisen winning like 10 awards in the same show? Because they didn't watch anything except shonen, pretty much. So I would take that. Also, from last year, it would be Vinland Saga Season 2, for sure. And from this year, the Mitsuki Award would go to whatever the best T-Rex anime of the year is. So I don't have to figure that out. And
for those who don't know, T-Rex is not referring to a prehistoric large lizard creature.
Nope, it's referring to... Yeah.
I don't get it.
T-Rex is a well-beloved hentai studio in Mitsugi's playbook.
Oh, yes. I remember now. I remember that studio.
Do you remember this studio?
Creamy Mommy? Of course I do, but that's not a studio.
Nope, it's an anime.
Somebody was I think it was like Motoko on our Discord. I think he was so upset with me that I tried and I accidentally made...
What'd you say? Are you talking to me? I guess not.
But seriously, if it's Creamy Mommy in English, does not translate very well.
It is.
Yeah, I know. It might sound like something totally innocent to a Japanese person. It is definitely not innocent here.
Yeah. It's T-Rex's peak, so There you go. That's all you need to
Mason,
know.
would you like to go next?
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Mitz. Awards, regardless, are kind of not that important, and finding that small community that really is passionate and has, not diluted by masses, I think is always a good way to go. I went with the R/Anime Award for animation, just because really, as much as just having great animation is not what makes a show good or bad, I'm watching anime for a big part because it has animation in a way that a lot of other mediums just have, not at all. So like characters, you can watch movies for that, you can hear all kinds of stories, but anime is kind of exclusive to having this kind of animation, which I adore. So for anime specifically, I think an award, praising that is kind of important. So that's where I would go to get my fix if I had to look for one award at the end of a year.
Yeah, I mean, it would. I also agree on the animation. Is just we can't just say like, oh, best anime of the year. It just seems like a very obvious answer. But in addition to animation, I guess maybe cinematography too.
I almost actually put that because cinematography is probably the single most defining part of what makes a show work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very technical. And I think like the general public, me included, probably can't pick out the best cinematography over one or the other. So you kind of rely on the expertise of the judges for that one more than I don't think people would get so up in arms over somebody getting best cinematography over their favorite show when it might be like best romance over their favorite show. They would probably get more pissed about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Award shows, by and large, are pretty stupid beyond just being an avenue to talk about things you love and tell people, hey, check this stuff out. It's good for one reason or another. So that's why I like them. And with that, let us get into a discussion on what makes a show bad or good with our review of Frieren Beyond Journey's End. This is a fall 2023 show. I passed this on episode 699. You can watch it on Crunchyroll. It's done by Studio Madhouse. And the synopsis reads that the mage Frieren and her fellow adventurers have defeated the Demon King, and they've brought peace to the land. But being an elf, Frieren will long outlive all of her companions, all of her former party members, and now has to go on decades and decades and decades after they've accomplished their goal. And she kind of forms her own quests and starts a new one based on a request of one of her comrades. So it's kind of a transitional story from the end of one adventure to the beginning of the new one. It's directed by Keiichiro Saito, who did Bocchi the Rock and one of the Aka 13 OVAs. And it's based on a manga that I do enjoy a lot. So, Caroline, initial expectations for this show.
And I was expecting a heartfelt Iyashikei type show with great production. Those were the very specific things that I heard about it going into it. Just constant hype throughout its run. Every week, somebody was talking about Frieren on our Discord. So I was expecting something amazing and awesome and beautiful, etc.
There you go. And Mitsugi, what were your thoughts going in?
I had already watched some of this, and I don't like Iyashikei, so I expected not much. I don't know. I saw about 5 episodes before, like, long ago, and so I kind of got the gist at the beginning, at least. But
you knew what you were getting yourself into.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, sort of not. So, but we'll see. We'll see what's up.
Yeah, I came into this with pretty high expectations, and just the manga had a ton of potential. The director has just been a key animator and episode director on a ton of visually standout shows, so I was expecting a lot of excellence from him. Love Evan Call on composing the music, so I was all like, hey, this has a pretty good team working on it. Big hype. It was my #1 pick of fall, so I was hoping it would deliver. Caroline, spoiler free, did Frieren deliver? Was this a good show? Should people watch it? What do you think?
All right. So I would say that I do recommend it, but it comes with a caveat. It's not suited for people that need a lot of plot developments. And it's just a slow moving show that is best suited to a week-to-week watch schedule. And I'm so glad that I started watching Frieren like I think it was like a month and a half ago. Especially since it's 28 episodes. It's even longer than a 2-core typically. And then add in the fact that it is, very slow going, a relaxing type of show. I feel like everybody can agree. Like production, top notch. It's a beautiful looking fantasy. But here's the thing, I often found myself feeling not as invested in it as the many fans of this anime, because I kept on hearing about people just constantly talking about it and raving and just saying, I cannot believe that this show has to end. And I was watching it and I'm thinking, it's a nice show, don't get me wrong, but I was not, I felt like I was missing something. It felt like a Heavenly Delusion situation. Remember when I was watching Heavenly Delusion and I'm like, yeah, this show's fine, but I don't get what the big whoop is. And I was feeling like kind of empty. I'm like, and what am I missing? Like, I'm missing out on this amazing stuff that people are saying and feeling, and I'm just not getting it. And I couldn't feel as connected to it as them, and that kind of irritated me because I wasn't getting it as much as they did. I think one of the things that I was not feeling the most, I found Frieren and Fern's personalities to be too calm, too apathetic, too similar to each other. So I wasn't really feeling. I was just kind of, I hate to say it, bored with them sometimes. Stark helped, like his inclusion helped because even though he had a little bit of a Zenitsu quality to him, so sometimes he got a little too zany.
A little
but
yelpy.
at least, he broke things up a bit. And he was kind of funny, so I did like him.
Stark contrast, if you will.
Stark. I also found the mages in the test arc in the second half. I thought they were so interesting. I thought they had layers, they had backstories, so that really helped them to bring some interest into that second half. And honestly, I'm kind of sad that they probably won't be making many reoccurring. Like, I can see some of them coming back in the second season, but yeah, there were some really good ones that I liked. I wish we got more of. Yeah, so the test fight overall, that arc, I thought it was really cool. I enjoyed the second half more than the first, though I definitely saw that people were kind of split between. I liked the first half, then the second half. The second half kind of ruined what made Frieren so great, and then some people might gravitate more to the second half. So I think it's kind of blasphemy if I say that I like the second half more, but that's how it is. Overall, I think I would say this show is definitely like a mix between Kino's Journey and Violet Evergarden in its themes and style. So if you enjoy those shows and want something to watch here and there, kind of enjoy the journey, then I think this is a good choice. But it's certainly not for people like Mitsuki, who will definitely tell him himself. So, yeah, there we go.
Well, let's hear from the man himself, Mitsugi. Would you recommend Frieren?
Not really. I mean, it's hard to really determine who I would recommend this for. I'm a lot in Caroline's spot because I just don't get it. Neither Pancake or I get it, to be honest. This show is currently the highest rated anime ever. I'm like, it's fine, but like I must be missing something because I just don't have it anywhere near a 9.4. Like, I expect that to come down pretty rapidly, and if it doesn't, I'm just going to be utterly confused. But so I mean, this anime, like Caroline said, it feels a little like modern day Kino's Journey, a little bit mushishi in tone at times. But it has some of the most boring characters I've ever encountered in recent memory. Fern is horrific as a character. I understand that, like, there's a lot of people on the Discord, like, obsessed with fucking Fern. I don't know. I don't I just don't get, like, you take an anime character and just make her mentally like 10 years younger than her actual age, and then have her do the stupid like puff your cheeks out shit all the time, and people just like jizz their pants over that. I don't get it. To be honest, Fern is like this character that has no personality at all. Most of the time she's nasty, but then she like runs off and eats like 15 parfaits for lunch. Like, okay. I would say the animation in this is pretty good. They definitely allocated it correctly. When they needed to really blow a load on their animation, they did. The current happenings are fun at times. So like the best arc in my opinion was early on with the Lunger, the demon guy, and the pink-haired girl. I can't remember what her name was. And then Frieren goes off and fights the demon Aura or whatever.
Yep.
I think I was most engaged with the anime during that section. Frieren herself is fine at times, but see, this show started off as like a living in the past D&D simulator where everybody just constantly talks about like their like golden years, like, oh, 30 years ago I had this friend and I'm still talking about Himmel even though it's 30 years ago and all this, and the fucking elves or the friggin' dwarfs are talking about shit that happened 100 years ago. The demons are talking about it. The humans don't really have memories that are that old, but they can't remember what happened 93 years ago because I'm just a human. And then it ends up, I don't know, turning into like some kind of a tuning exam, like battle magic exam festival. Like, I don't know, it was pretty bizarre. I think what I needed from this anime was characters that were a little more interesting because, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, but there's about literally every woman in this anime talks like she's had like enough SSRIs to put down like a fucking bull elephant. They're all on Valium. The only character that really had any kind of a like where every character just gives the same flat affect, matter-of-fact answer to every single question was Stark. He was the only character really for me that moved the needle emotionally, where like they could give an answer that didn't, yes, it's true, and I'm Fern, and I will travel with you. It's just like they basically told the voice actors to just like never express any emotion whatsoever. So I need better characters in this because like they were not doing it for me. And this anime, as far as I can tell, lacks a conflict besides what would exist in introspection. So I don't know. I'm not really sure who the villain is. They come and go. Like there's demons, they get killed, whatever, blah blah blah. But I'm not sure what the conflict is, other than the fact that like I'm living in the past, trying to figure out how to live in the present. But yeah, Fern really. We'll talk more later. I'm not going to keep going now, but Fern was pretty rough, and the humor in this anime failed most of the time. So there was some pretty ridiculous shit as far as the humor. And yes, I did binge this, and it was pretty tough to do. So it was like a 3 to 4 episode a night, marathon essentially. So that's about it. I'm kind of lukewarm. I just don't know why it's a 9.4. I'd love to have someone explain that to me.
Mason, can you explain?
I can explain a lot. I think that's no secret. I really enjoyed the show. This might be one of the best produced shows we've ever gotten. And in my impressions, I remarked, this show looks really good. I'm curious to see how these visuals hold up over a 2-court run. And they did such a good job. They took the manga and elevated it every step of the way. And not just in these really elaborate, weighty, vicious fight sequences, which they did very well, but just the meticulous and gorgeous everyday artistry of just them walking through the streets, Stark picking his nose, just everything did such a good job of bringing you into this world that you just breathed and existed in. And that was paired with such a, in my opinion, very well done musical score. It emotionally resonated, all the right notes. It had happiness. It had resigned melancholy. It just, production-wise, the show was immaculate, and I might even say majestic. It was phenomenal. I would say it's a near-perfect adaptation, but not a perfect show. There are some irksome, repetitive, underdeveloped, underwhelming sections for sure, and in ways where Caroline's like, I like this part, not this part. Mitz is like, I like this part, but not that part. There's definitely a general flow and ebb to what the show is going for, which I think inherently leaves you with parts you liked more than others. And you just need to be down for that journey that the show will meander on in its very aimless nature. That said, as someone who watched it weekly, I don't think there was a single week where I was not excited and ready for the next episode. And I think that was definitely the best avenue to watch it. And so therefore, I have to recommend it to everyone because it's such a solid show. But just understand, if after, 5 episodes, it's not clicking with you, it's probably not going to click with you later. Even if it does get into, maybe the action part you'll like later, it's hard to justify.
That wire that is easily knocked offline, I would say. So
yeah, no worries. We're back, folks. We're back.
All right.
Was there anything particular that you guys were like itching to talk about?
There are like, I can't say that my enjoyment of the show was consistent throughout. There were definitely peaks, and I would like to share some of my peaks. I would say, like, just first things first, Frieren versus Frieren. That was awesome. Like maybe I'm just thinking of the first blast when the animation just kind of changes. It was so cool.
So I adored how this show used CG for the magic effects. Mm-hmm. I think in any lesser show, having that kind of artificial, like whenever they put up shields or shoot blasts at each other, it very much looks like it doesn't fit in with the more muted palette of the rest of the show.
Like they
but it's supposed to look unearthly, and it works so well for that.
Yeah, there were like some something shattered. It probably was like one of the defense fields like shattered or something like that. And it like the colors turned to negatives. And you can tell that is the effect they're using. But visually, it's kind of like that Mob Psycho kind of style where it just it hits.
It's composited so well that going with the animation that is weighty, like going back to the earlier fights with the demons that Mitsuki liked, when they're swinging their axes around, it's not just a cartoon swinging an axe. It's, you feel the weight to the body language that has to move the thing and how it impacts. It just was so meticulously done in all these big moments. It hit the crescendos it needed to. It was, and when the soundtrack was blasting, you just felt it. And I think the ability of this show to really be a fantasy, and it takes you into that world that is so foreign from what we live in today, has to be, addressed. Even if you don't like it in the day-to-day moments, those big moments absolutely succeeded for me.
Yeah. And I think Frieren versus Frieren, it's not like an uncommon thing for anime to have like your character fight themselves basically. But I think it was very effective in this show because Frieren is so freaking overpowered. Like, we never get to see her actually try because she can just do things so effortlessly. So having her fight herself was the perfect way for us to see her actually show off her world-ending abilities and still have to scrape by with Fern's help here and there trying to defeat it. So yeah, that was pretty awesome.
She can do everything except pay for dinner.
Yeah. Okay. So let's, if we could talk for a second about Frieren's flaws, which are that she is so immature. It's for like to be so old. You would think that she would be able to get out of bed by herself, would be able to brush her hair by herself. And I hate when anime characters act like they're geriatric, like they so senile that they can't physically help themselves, and they have to help get the 16-year-old girl that they are traveling along with to be their caretaker. It's so dumb and irritating. I didn't really like that part about Frieren. And also her constantly getting trapped in a chest, which I can understand personality-wise. She's just so curious, and she desperately wants to unearth all the treasures. But she's like, oh my god, it's dark, it's scary, help me. Every single time.
I like the mimic gag.
After a little while,
it's a little repetitious, but I think it worked because most of the time it was such a short cut.
Yeah.
And half the time you knew it was coming. The only time that it kind of irked me was there's a very protracted sequence of Fern trying to pull her out of the chest, which animated well, but it just kind of dragged on. And you're like, okay, we've stuck with the scene for too long. But I thought it worked well overall. And I think a lot of the entertainment issues I had with maybe Frieren's personality or Fern's personality, which we'll get into, at least they're explainable. Like, Frieren's just not a morning person, and now she's traveling, and she's probably traveled for decades being on her own schedule, and now all of a sudden she's kind of has to wake up early, and that she's not used to it. Or Fern being kind of dour in one note, but we see that maturity from her upbringing and what brought her to that point. So even if I can't be like, oh, I thought they were such humdinger, zany characters that kept me entertained all the time, at least it makes sense why they are the way they are. So yeah. I'm not justifying the lack of entertainment. I'm just saying at least it works within context of the world and story that has been delivered.
So, like, being an adult, growing up, like, being forced to be an adult early makes you lobotomized, basically?
Well, I mean, she had trauma of her parents being killed early. She's pretty much had to be the caretaker of, you know, the priest this whole time and not really had a chance to be a girl and get that, you know, what she's got hormones raging and all she's had for parental guidance is Hyder, a guy who's drunk all the time, and Frieren. Like, imagine if your mom was Frieren, like, you probably wouldn't develop into the most consistent person, especially if you have to mother her through every day and not have a chance to just be a girl and goof off. You're learning deadly magic all the time. Like, it's a tricky life, and you could be like, yeah, she's very flat and monotone and stuff, but she's also a 16-year-old girl who's had no consistent life. She's a nomad who's going around killing monsters. Like, I get why she's the way she is.
Putting aside, you know, the fact that they are not the most interesting to watch duo, I really liked when it's been, like, pointed out and we can understand how Frieren sees things and how she chooses to do things, like what she thinks is important to spend time on, and then put it in the context of, like, she has all the time in the world to do whatever she wants. But then she has to realize that everybody else around her has, like, an infinite fraction of her years. So she has to, like, learn how to pick and choose what to spend time on in her journey.
So yeah, she can take forever in the mornings because she's in no rush. And I think that actually kind of bugged me out because in, like, episode 2, she's like, let's look for this flower. And it takes like 6 months. And Fern is like, come on, let's do something else. Let's go. My clock is ticking. I'm going to die. And he's like, no. But she kind of confronts Frieren like, hey, we need to go. And they happen to find the flower right then. But it's like, but did she learn her lesson of you need to, you know, cooperate with other people's timelines? I don't know as much, but
no, I don't think she's fully matured in that way. But it's an interesting thing for me to think about. Be reminded of her. Like, I still cannot wrap my mind around how long of a lifespan they have. I thought maybe like a couple thousand years were how long elves live, but apparently Frieren's also already been living. How many years has she been living at this point?
Forever.
Like, and she's still, like, in her infancy as an elf, basically. And I'm like, where are the ancient elves? Like, I need to know, because I think the oldest one was it her name Syrie? Are
you looking for these old attractive women, Caroline?
No, I'm just thinking.
Where are the
myself,
old ladies at?
What is the higher end of an elf's lifespan, or are they just immortal, like, completely?
It probably varies depending on the what
pretty much
you're
ageless.
About.
In this show, they seem to be essentially ageless. And that would be represented by the Serie.
So unless somebody has anything specific to talk about, I was going to go back to like the peaks that I thought.
Yeah, go back to that.
I really I like the demon arc like Mitsugi did, because I feel like that was our first taste of actual conflict in the show, and meeting the demons and how and they're getting into their mindset of how they work, and being able to see Frieren and Fern actually fight was pretty good. And the mage exam, as I mentioned before, was my favorite arc. In terms of like individual episodes, I really liked that that Stark doppelganger story, like the one where he is pointed out to look a lot like the Lord of the Area's son, to an extreme point. I'm like, okay, that's kind of crazy that they look that much alike. But then he has to pretend to be him in order to satiate, like to keep the area calm, and getting into like the father's story and his emotional well-being, and how it ends with him asking Stark if he would like to stay, and being like, I can't replace your son and you're not going to replace my dad, so we can't be doing that. So yeah, it was a good story for me.
Yeah, I like that one too. That was I am surprised by how easily fooled people are, though. It's like,
I don't know. I don't think there was any reason for other people to believe that was not him.
It was fine.
Goes to war for a couple years, comes back with a scar.
Maybe looks
similar
a little
hair.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
not like there's photographs
somewhat
and
believable.
stuff. Is it a bit of a stretch to include him into the shoehorning of a plot? Sure, maybe, but it kind of worked enough to not dwell on it.
I kept on forgetting that Stark had a scar. Like, even when they showed his full face, I'm like, what's that? Like, that's the.
It just looks like it looks like shade.
Yeah, exactly. It's so negligible. I'm like, that's not even a scar. And he's so anxious about it, I think, at times. Like, oh, I can't let people show my scar. I'm like, dude, you just have a spot. It's really not that big a deal. A little bit of cover up will fix that right up.
We need this glow up arc.
It just needs like one dab of concealer.
No, I liked Frieren. I liked Stark a lot. I liked both of their personalities and the stories that developed from them. Fern, I think, is kind of just not exciting on her own.
Boring.
Just watching her shop or stuff isn't really exciting for me.
And she's in her temperament, it's so unbecoming.
She's so fucking insufferable.
I think the big push is that she is the going towards the path of being the strongest mage and representative of humans' development with spells, and that to come from such a docile, plain human is kind of what is so shocking to Serie and demons. And I think Fern has to be kind of lukewarm to be that much more extraordinary in the contrast. That said, I love the bit of world building about how, this demon had this brutally deadly killing magic that ravaged the world, but now that's like a laughable baby spell that children are taught to defend against. Like that's kind of the ending. The second half of the show is it's the age of humans. It's the age of rapid development, as humans are going places and they got to go there quickly, and they're kind of taking over the world because, despite their lack of lifespan, they have that expedited nature of progress, and that's what Fern represents. So even though I'm with you guys that if you showed me a spin-off series, which was the Fern Hour, which was just Fern exploring the world every day, that would be abysmal. She worked within the puzzle piece of this show where it didn't annoy me, but you guys definitely are justified in the way you feel.
But going off of that that example you gave, like a spin-off from this show, I think I would definitely watch a spin-off of like the one team in the mage arc. Like the guy, I can't really remember their names, but the guy with Werble, like the one who was like a soldier who tries to give as much time before killing somebody just for the off chance that he doesn't have to, but will do it if he must. Like that is so interesting, and like his relations with the girl he had to carry, like the girl on his team, like that he had to carry her back. I like her too, and they didn't really get into the third guy into their group very much, but I can I like their trio. I think I would actually enjoy their show a little bit more than our trio, but that's just hypothetical. Mitsuki, what were you gonna say?
I think you guys have covered a lot, but we haven't covered some of the goofy shit that happens in this anime.
Okay.
I appreciated Frieren's attempt at humor a couple times, but Fern just ruins everything that she touches. Like, oh, I have a potion that dissolves clothing. Oh, well, fuck you. I'm gonna break it and pour it over your head. Like, you know, but I feel like the dissolving or seeing through of clothes came back at least 4 times in this anime. It was like the most tired joke ever. She even brings the same potion out a second time, which is weird. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's the anime just says weird shit. The dwarf guy's country custom on birthdays is to eat Hamburg steak. Like, did anybody think that was a little weird to reach for a honestly bad food that only exists in Japan?
I mean, it's a big meaty dish that makes sense for a warrior.
It didn't really bother me too much. But you're right. It is a little silly, but it didn't really bother me too much.
That's like me saying, oh, on my birthday in Denver, I eat Jelly Bellies, while the rest of the world is full of murder and destruction. And it just didn't fit. Guerrilla Warrior. Did anybody bat an eye at Guerrilla Warrior? Goatee
Yeah,
priest?
it was silly, but it made sense.
No, it did not. No one...
Yes, it
did.
You're Nobody's
going to remember the hero named Bob. Okay? And as long as the guy is kind of zany enough, like, he doesn't mind being called Gorilla. So
a 5-year-old kid. All right. So when I have a kid and he turns 5 and he goes, my name is Shit Thrower, and he pulls the shit out of the toilet and throws it, I'm going to call him Shit Thrower for the rest of human history? Like 5...
No, because this is real life, and the anime does several silly things that only happens because it's anime. Are you going to get wrapped up in the jiggle physics of boobs in real life when boobs in anime just go all over the place? You'd be like, oh, that's so unrealistic. Of course it is. It's anime.
I would be willing to bet that if we watched an anime full of boob jiggle physics every 5 seconds, that neither of you would give a plus to the anime because it had boob physics in it. You would probably take points away. So that's
because it's not an exact comparison. And honestly,
I'm just saying,
this character was mentioned like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times over the course of this 28 episode anime. It did not bother me.
All I'm saying, I mean, it's fine. Boob jiggle physics don't bother me, but you're gonna take points away for boob physics. I'm gonna take points away for putting dumb shit into an anime that doesn't land at all and doesn't make any sense.
It does make sense.
The guy's still calling himself Goatee Priest, and he's like 40.
It's a joke. He's the one that he doesn't call himself that. It's just a joke amongst friends.
I'm still trying to figure out how this anime has a 9.4 on the internet of 350,000 people who largely just watch shonen all day long, and I'm just not getting it. Is this the best anime ever made?
I think
I don't think it's anywhere fucking close.
This show is a highly decorative, ornamental, craftsmanship, artisan quality bell. And it looks gorgeous, and you hit it, and it goes ding. And some people just really resonate with it. And it just hits the right timbre for them, and it's the exact show they needed. It's comfy, it's exciting, it looks great, it sounds good, and it just reverberates within whatever soul experience they want to have when watching it. I experienced that quite a few times. A lot of people just hear that dinging bell and they're like, it's a fancy looking bell. Big whoop.
I'm gonna have to jump in.
Both sides.
I'm gonna have to jump in and just fully disagree with your assessment, because this anime has a 9.4 out of 10, which means that out of the 350,000 people that watched it, probably 70%, at least I would say half of them gave it a 10. And I'm gonna check right now. but this anime isn't some people liked it and some didn't. This anime has 60% of people, in fact, 84% of people gave this a 9 or higher. So it's not some people did and some didn't. It's every fucking person thinks this is the best anime of all time. And I would like to know why, because it doesn't even have a conflict that's tangible.
Okay.
It's introspection at best, and I just don't get it. It's fine. I'm probably going to give this like a 3, 3.5, because it's just fine. But the whole world has come together and agrees 85% of people can't even agree on whether they like ketchup. And yet 84% of people think this is a 9. I'm just asking why, because it's
Here's my
almost
perspective.
People
everyone.
can't even agree how to spell ketchup.
They can't even agree how to spell free or even how to say Frieren's name. So how are they all agreeing this is a 9 or higher?
Here's my perspective. Do I think this show, out of all anime, top 10 of all anime? I don't think so. So I don't think it is fully. Deserving is a big word, but I don't think that 9.4 fully encapsulates Frieren. But what I will say is that giving an anime a 10, it's not that somebody thinks this show is absolute perfection. It is somebody saying, I really love this show, and I connect with the show more than anything else I've seen. That's when I give a show a 10. Or if a show's really, 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 really good, I'm giving it a 9. But I have to connect with it really toughly, really a lot, to give it a 10. And so, people may not see conflict in this show, but what they connect with is not conflict. They connect with the atmosphere and the production values, the music, and the setting, and the emotional parts of the show. That's why they gave it a 10.
I have a hard enough time explaining why I like a show. I can't explain why other people like a show. Is it probably overrated? Absolutely, Mitz. I'll give that to you 10 days out of 10. I think there's a lot of hype. It looks good. It sounds good. It gets the people going. People are talking about it. No, it's probably not that worthy of the score it has, but I don't care about what the masses slap on their scores. I care about why you like or dislike certain parts of it. For me, there's a scene where Stark goes and eats a bowl of ice cream and fruit. And some people will watch that and be like, oh, he's eating, big whoop. But it's this guy who's returning to a place he went before, older, remarking on how things have changed, and being like, this dessert isn't what I thought it was. It's not like I remember it. And that stuff is beautiful to me. And I love moments like that. And I could see why people don't. But why people gave that a 10 versus giving it a 7? No clue. I don't have an answer for you.
Now, what I get hung up on is the fact that their economic situations change constantly. They're either super duper rich or they are broke poor. Like it's never in between. Like I don't know how they're making their money here. I know that they do like their side quests and stuff, but I don't know how they are surviving this journey with the economic situation that they always find themselves in.
I want to know how Frieren has a Himmel memory for every little thing perfectly.
Oh my god. It's okay, so another thing about this show that I was going to mention, it's a bit formulaic. After a while, like every single time they go to a place, I'm like, okay, Frieren's gonna flash back to either the place that they went to before on her first journey, or it's going to be a very appropriate quote from Himmel. And Himmel is always like, he's either like, look at me pose, ha ha ha, hero boy, or he's like saying something so philosophic and
dramatic.
You know, the people are not going to remember ourselves for defeating the Demon King, but they will remember that we picked up their fruit that fell on the floor, or something like that. He's just so eloquent, and I'm like, come on, Himmel, just chill out.
And I get it. You spent 10 years with the dude, and you kind of like him. Like, I get that you're going to have lots of memories. And at the same time, I'm bemoaning that there's a Himmel memory for everything. Sorry, Himmel the hero. Put some respect on it. Every time they did show any flashback to her with her old party and the music swells, I'm like, it feels right. It felt good. And it still delivered an emotional impact, even if it was a little formulaic. And I would argue the end of the show with the flashback saying, like, no, it'll be embarrassing if we meet again, was one of the best endings to
it was nice.
How the show could have ended, with not a big grand finale, because the show will get a second season And if they did a big grand finale, it'd be embarrassing when the show comes. Like, that was so smartly done. It was the little moments that really sold this show for me and got me through. They're trying to catch a bird for 3 episodes. They're in a cabin for an episode. That kind of was a little more treading through mud.
I can't believe how much of that mage exam it could have been carried by teamwork. Like, anybody, had it not been for the fact that Syrie had picked the cream out of the crop at the very end, just on a whim, basically. Like, so many of those mages could have gone through just because they had the team in the first test. They had the ability to team up in the second test. We don't know what the third would have been if had not Syrie had stepped in, but like, she was right. Like, so many mages who have no business being first class got very close. Like the girl who controlled water, that's the only thing she can do. Like, she does nothing else.
Whoa,
and if there's
she
no
can
water,
put her best friend in a rear naked chokehold leg lock for 17 times.
not even. She was the one being attacked most of the time.
That was probably the most annoying thing of the entire show for me.
Yeah, I mean, I like their relationship. When the gray-haired girl, Lavine, is that how they say it?
Lavine.
Yeah. When she lost in the second test, and
good.
it's not because they weren't fighting. It's like, oh my god, they weren't fighting. How nice. It was more like, what do you want me to do? Like, pat your head? And she said, yeah. And that was sweet. And I like them. They're like, I'm gonna put you in a half Nelson.
Yeah.
Constantly. It's kind of crazy.
But you were absolutely right. A lot of the characters in the Mage arc really carried that section because they were just really bombastic and diverse and interesting. And they could have easily dropped a bunch of characters that you were immediately like yawning for, but by that end of the second trial, you had a good sense of, you know, their values, what they cared about. I would say their character designs were not always the best. Like the little choker with the tail that Warble is wearing. Like, okay, maybe it's a bit much for a warrior.
So like,
it's so fluffy.
The fact that it would be one thing if that's his personal style and like he's just doing it because he can. But the fact that he was wearing that while actively being a part of like this mage army, like there's
He's
no
from
you
the
were wearing
northern
a
lands.
uniform. Wear a
cold.
uniform.
It's cold. It's chilly. I love Denken. I just like a lot of the characters.
Yeah, Denken was cool.
And their philosophies and how different characters saw the world is really what made it for me. It doesn't matter that Frieren did or didn't see the sunrise. It was about experiencing it with people and realizing why that matters. And it's those momentary values and not about the legacy of a lifetime. I mean, Himmel, I was a little like befuddled on how short he got. Like, I think he got a little cartoonishly short, but that was funny because for all of his posturing of leaving this grand legacy, the physical body decays. And I think the show just touched on a lot of things that I really respected, despite the multitude of issues that we had, which will pop up when you have such an ambitious story with so many characters over so many episodes. Not everything's going to hit, but for the most part, the dish was seasoned well.
That's a nice way to put it.
We can proudly score it if you guys want.
Yeah,
Or is there anything else you want to touch on besides the music being fantastic? It was so good.
You know, I did not really. If you were to play the score for me, I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that, but I can't really point it out. But that's a case of it being a good score, is that it flowed well into the scene. I didn't really pick it up, really. Or
yeah, it worked.
I probably should have listened.
It never stuck out.
In
a way where it was odd.
Yeah, it just all together. It was a well-produced show, very well. Even the voices, like the voice acting, you can harp on how monotone that Frieren and Fern's voices got. That wasn't really all that interesting, but the production behind the voices, so crisp and like ASMR-ish, like for everyone across the board. It was nice.
Yeah, I mean, they gave one thing I noticed, I think in my impressions, characters had time to talk, and then there was like time and space before there were responses. It wasn't an anime where it's blah, 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 back and forth like rapid fire dialogue. It was a more naturalistic conversation between real humans, quote unquote, and elves, I guess.
I guess that's why they had the 4 extra episodes on top of their 2 core, was to give them 4 episodes worth of time to.
I mean,
to really...
the intro 4 episodes essentially covered volume 1 of the manga and just kind of set up the beginning of the next journey. My favorite moments were always when they did a flashback, though, to the main old school party. I loved Eisen, I loved Hyder, I loved Himmel. Like, their back and forth, the corrupt priest joke. Yes, repetitive, overdone, absolutely. But it was so short and poignant that it never interfered, so I enjoyed it. And I always got a chuckle out of it. And love seeing how Eisen's personality rubbed off on Stark. It was very subtle in a lot of the character writing. Some might say boring. I'd say methodical, but to each his own. So, you guys want to score it?
Sure.
Sir.
I'll go first. Yeah, so show, it's a good show. Did I connect with it as much as other people? No. I did find some points to be a little bit boring, unfortunately. There were some definite highs, some kind of subtle lows, and as much as people meme and love them, Fern and Frieren are not going to be in my best girls list. They're really not, even though I'm pretty sure that they will make an appearance in the waifu war if we do it this year. But they did have some memeable moments, and Stark was cool. I'm kind of surprised we didn't get as much, like, that sign wasn't around for that long. And I'm sure he'll come back, but still, I'm surprised that's the only amount of time we get with him.
I kind of like that, though. Like, you're like, oh, here comes the 4th one. They're going to join the party. And then they just leave. And you're like, huh. Life can be like that.
And one more specific thing that I kind of appreciated was when Fern claimed that she had killed the test taker, the other mage. And obviously, you know, she's one of the main characters. Like, of course she didn't kill them. But for a second there, I thought it's possible that she did. Because she is, like, she's practical, you know? She could have feasibly killed her, even though you would know that she didn't.
And we had those reinforced lessons earlier when she kind of hesitated to kill and was kind of berated for it. So she learned her lesson. She's done it before. She'll do it again. Stop her.
Yeah. What if Fern was the villain all along? Huh?
Big pout, flash screen emoji. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, it's a good show. Not my favorite, but I think I'm gonna give this one a 4 Fern pouts out of 5.
Very nice. Mitsugi, you want to lay down the thunder?
Lower the average? Yeah. I think really at the end of the day, I just got to be consistent, and I just don't like Yashike anime, and I don't like slice of life, because these shows tend to lack conflict. They lack narrative generally, and I don't know. I don't have a lot of time, so I don't really want to spend it watching people do nothing. I'm not saying they did nothing in this anime, but a lot of the Iyashike / slice of life shows are just, you know, that's kind of what they are to me. They don't really do much. There's not much narrative happening. And, you know, I've cut down other shows in the past for not having strong narratives, and this one, in a strange way, doesn't. It didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. I thought it was just going to be all these people dying around Frieren because she lives forever and all these other people don't. But that's not where it went. Is it going to go there eventually? I 100% guarantee that this anime ends ultimately with everybody in her party dying and she's just like walking down the road. I'm pretty sure that's where we're going. But we're not there yet. So that and the fact that the characters in this anime just didn't hit. Even Stark just looks like an edgelord. Like, I wish he would like change his clothes and not have the haircut he's got, because it just screams like, I don't know, I'm trying to stand out in a crowd, but don't look at me. Kind of. So, yeah. So ultimately, I wasn't all that interested in what was happening, and I didn't like the character. If we do a waifu war, which we probably won't, I can guarantee Fern would win because I don't know, but that's just pretty much where it would be. This anime, I still don't understand how everybody can agree that it's so good. I am just stunned by it, honestly. This anime is not even still airing, and it still has a 9.4, meaning that it's now the best anime of all time, which according to the masses, which I have defended before. So, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it that much, so I'm going to give it, what did I give it on my anime list here? I gave it a 3. That's what I'm going to give it. 3.
I thought you were going to say 3 out of 10, and I'll be like, oh.
3.
Still, a 6 out of 10. Kind of crazy.
3 times that I just wanted to like slap Fern in the face really hard. You're just being mean for no reason and absolutely no fun ever. Out of 5. So, just brutal. And also, for having literally no shading at all on her face. The character designs in this anime, I didn't say that before, but bothered me because they were such low detail and so low shading. Like most of the people's faces in this anime have absolutely no shading whatsoever. And I was just like, I get that that's just the style, but I was a little like Goatee Priest looked. His face was so low res because he just had no shading, and then he just has the 4 little lines of goatee hair on it, and it's just like silly looking. Fern, her face looks like someone just drew a circle, clicked the paint bucket, and clicked tan, and then clicked her face, and then didn't give her any shading at all, so she has no detail at all on her face, and then just gave her like 2 giant eyes, and then said go. So, but that's personal taste. I didn't really like the art style too much, but the art is fine. The character designs weren't really to my taste, but yep, that's about it.
Yeah, I can agree that the character designs, in my opinion, were not the strongest point. That said, I found the show a lot of the characters to be memorable. I actually remember a lot of their names, their sense of being, and I just really resonated with it. Like I said earlier, I thought the OP and the ED were kind of underwhelming, didn't really fit. Obviously, some of the humor didn't land. I could have done with a little bit less foot shots, a lot of less shots of innocent maidens laying in fields of grass with like white dresses, trying to be all pure, and nothing wrong with that. It just felt a little too like fan servicey in not a fan servicey way, and it just kind of irked me more. So yeah, there were a ton of things that held this back from being a masterpiece. But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed the show. I would recommend it to a lot of folks, but I just can't give it full marks that I want to, just because there's, I don't know, it just is, for as much as it does well, it's just missing that little something that I think would make it a masterpiece. So I'm going to give this 4 score go. I remember when Himmel the Hero gave this anime a 4 out of 5, and that's what I'm going to give it as well. So that was our review of Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Hopefully we said at least one thing that was interesting or you agree with. If not, we love you. We'll still review other anime in the future, so just listen to us, and we'll eventually have some good takes. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, TikTok. Hit us up. Remember, does Mitsugi's mom know? You can win the prize of earning Mitsugi's legendary secret Japanese arts of travel. And
giving that thing away left and right.
I know. But you can do it with style by beating his mom in a hand-to-hand combat. UFC 301. Stay tuned. But go over to AAPodcast.com. Support us if you like to. If not, just go to iTunes, leave a helpful review. We love to hear it. Next episode, Spring Impressions Begin. We're already in it, folks. Get hyped. We hope to see you there. Thank you so much for joining. We love you. And have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, get ready for us to talk about some mediocre shows.
Woo!
Yeah.
Could be better than you think.
You never know.
We'll
find out.
Much
There's a
worse.
wolf among us.
We'll see.
After
Bye.
all. Bye.
Bye.